Hey, what's up, YouTube? Just hanging out this weekend. I just finished watching some amazing atheist videos, and he was speaking about some politics, talking about some things dealing with particular candidates and the state of our Constitution and where the government's gone and why is it that we haven't been able to get together and update our Constitution based on today's living instead of that of 200 years ago. Everybody's going to have their own opinion about that. Everybody's either a constitutionalist or they're not. Or we have fair weathers. They believe in parts of it, but not all of it. And it does need to be revised based on today's world and today's views. When our country was built, it was built by people that believed in the Bible. They believed in the way of the Bible, and they believed that there were strict, circumstances around every law that they made. So you're going to have your own opinion about that and what you want to do with it. I'm not really going to discuss any more about that. I want to give a shout out to my Niners, 10-2, clinched our division today. It's the best season we've had in a while, so I'm pretty excited about it. Now on to the subject. TJ had talked about some child harassment charges that are going on right now. We had a 9-year-old in North Carolina brought up on sexual harassment or inappropriate behavior for telling his teacher that she was cute. Now, to me, a 9-year-old telling a teacher is cute is pretty normal. It's a compliment. It's not a sexual-based event. It's not something that would be warranted as a sexual harassment or inappropriate in any way. If you walked up and smacked her on the ass or rubbed her tit, then I could understand sexual harassment. If he said something pretty graphic besides she was cute, maybe. The second one is a 7-year-old boy that was being bullied. He kicked the bully in the groin, and now he's suspended and brought up on charges of sexual harassment. Now, I don't know who's making these laws, and I don't know what criteria they're following for these laws, but you kick somebody in the groin, that's not a sexual-based event. That has nothing to do with sex. And why isn't the other kid being brought up on bullying charges? Why is he being not mentioned in this for being punished in any way? Whoever's making these laws really need to look at what's going on. These sexual harassment charges are getting out of hand. I was trying to do some research on any other cases I could find. I found one other, and it was a 6-year-old boy who had stuck his hand in the waistband of a little girl's pants in front of him. His fingers touched the skin on her back, and he was brought up on sexual harassment at 6 years old. Now, of course, the case was dismissed because of his age, but, how young is too young, and how old is too old? We got to come up with better rules and regulations with this. You're bringing kids under 10 years old up on sexual harassment charges. This is something that could stay with them the rest of their lives. Sexual harassment and statutory rape, these are all subjects that really need to be redefined. An 18-year-old having sex with a 17-year-old isn't statutory rape. I'm sorry. Parents of these girls, or these boys even, if it's the other way around, really need to get a grip on the reality of their lives. Your kids are getting older and they're getting ready to leave your house. If they want to have sex with somebody a year older than them, the other person shouldn't have to suffer the rest of their lives with this on their record. They're doing nothing wrong, especially if they're both in the 12th grade or the 11th and 12th grade or something of that nature. Now, if they're 26 and 17, I can understand getting upset. There's no reason for a 26-year-old to be dating a 17-year-old. But the reality of life is it's all about your environment and where you're being raised and how you're being raised. But as far as these little kids, come on, people. These governments, these schools, they really got to come together with some outside help and figure out what to do, because this is ridiculous. This shouldn't even be an issue at this point. This should have been dropped immediately. If a teacher can't handle being complimented by a student, she shouldn't be a teacher. That's how I feel about it. And a 9-year-old telling you you're cute is no different than a 9-year-old telling a 9-year-old you're cute. At 9 years old, you're still trying to figure out what cute is. So, why is it an issue? As far as, the bullying thing goes, that's gotten out of hand. Kids can't even be kids anymore. Every time you turn around, a kid's being brought up on charges for bullying or sexual harassment or something. Kids can't even interact anymore. How are you supposed to learn social development if you can't interact with other kids? I mean, this country is really getting to an extreme with everything that's going on in it. When I was a kid, man, it was just free for all. We did whatever, and we turned out fine. But that's where our country's going to. TJ's right. Before you know it, your mother's going to be bringing their childs up on, for grabbing them. I don't know. Where do we stop? Where do we draw the line? We really need to fix it. The second thing I wanted to talk about is a 63-year-old lady in Canada. Yes, I said 63-year-old lady in Canada. She has Lou Gehrig's disease, and then we all know that's a progressive illness that causes a lot of pain. It causes dysfunction in the body. She can't even take care of herself. She's in a wheelchair, and she's been trying to get the courts to allow her to have assisted suicide. She no longer wants to live with the disease and what it's doing to her. She wants to keep her dignity, and she wants to go quietly. But the country, it's illegal for assisted suicide, and it's illegal to have a doctor help you with that. And I don't understand why. This is a 63-year-old woman. She's lived a good life. She's got a debilitating illness that's just going to get worse, and she doesn't want to live with it. She should be allowed to make that decision. Now, I understand their biggest fear is if you make it legal, that families that don't want to care for the elderly are going to push them into making this decision. But it's not really up to the family, and I think if someone is going to be up for this, there should be a therapist and a doctor involved, and the patient should be monitored for a certain amount of time, and then allow the decision to be made. Assisted suicide is a serious problem when it comes to, insurance policies. And that's the main reason why most families don't want their loved ones committing suicide, because most insurance companies don't pay for benefits if you commit suicide. But I think in a situation where you have a debilitating illness like this, there should be provisions should be made. And I think that the government really needs to revamp their laws about this. I think anybody that has this is a special case, and it should be looked at as such. We need to really step in as a government and allow these people to make this decision. We allow people to do piercings and tattoos, and there's governments out there that mutilate their people. Look at the females in the third world countries that are mutilated in their genital areas. But we don't allow assisted suicide. I mean, I'd rather have a loved one do assisted suicide than go out back and shoot themselves in the head with a 9mm, or suffocate themselves to death with carbon monoxide from their vehicle. I mean, we need to really revamp this and give these people that opportunity. I don't know what you feel about it. I'm just opening the door for conversation. Please leave a comment at the bottom. If you like the video, please subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up on the side. And always give me some suggestions for my next video. Peace.